Hi, Ashira Star Goddess. It is Conspiracy Monday. Okay, so I was thinking of topics I could do for today, and I think I decided on human combustion. Okay, this is a phenomena that has been happening since way before the biblical days. Well, has been recorded, of incidences since way back then. So what is human combustion? This is when like a human body just bursts into flames with like no, you know, gas or fire to start it. Your body just bursts into flames. Scientists have been trying to figure it out. And there's really no logical explanation for why a body would just decide to catch on fire and burn all the way into ashes and not burn anything else around it. You know what I'm saying? If you go and research human combustion, you'll see a lot of the cases where most of the body has burned into ashes, and then maybe there's a leg or a foot left, or a newspaper right next to the body that didn't burn, or the furniture that didn't burn, just the body. And you will ask yourself, well, how can this be? How can a body just blow up and burst into flames? A lot of people will say it's supernatural. Some will say there's a scientific explanation. Some will just say it's just one of those things that can't be explained and they're still trying to figure it out. But if you think about what we're truly made of, metaphysically and scientifically, you can kind of get a better understanding. Okay, if you have read the Kabbalah, if you study Hermeticism, metaphysics, and all that good stuff, you will know that most things are illusion. And when I say illusion, I mean nothing is a solid matter. We're all particles and energy vibrating at a certain speed and density. Okay, so a rock would be vibrating at a certain speed and density to make it that hard, versus a feather or a plant that's vibrating at a certain speed that doesn't make it as hard or dense. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so as a human, we have many things that our bodies are made out of, and we're vibrating at a certain speed and density, okay, which allows us to be seen, touched, and all that good stuff. Okay, now if our bodies decide, as the particles in our body, the matter in our body, the dark matter in between the particles in our body, decides that it does no longer want to be this physical form, then I believe, this is just my opinion, I believe that human combustion can be caused by that, or an imbalance of particles of vibrating in your body. This particle is vibrating at this speed, this particle is vibrating at this speed. The energy and the matter between the particles, might have some type of reaction to that, and then human combustion. Okay, now a lot of the cases of human combustion has been mostly in women. And why? Because women have more fat on their bodies than men. Women have breast, women have more fatty tissue, and men have more muscle mass. Okay, so that would burn faster. That would have an accelerant because fat burns, and in a lot of cases, it does store heat, extra heat. So a lot of the cases have been women. There's been men cases as well. I'm not trying to say there's no such thing as a man not being able to do that, but I'm just saying because of the fat in women, that's why a lot of times you'll see the burn victims as women, because where most of their bodies were burnt. That's what I'm saying. Like, you might find a man that had this happen to him, but not all of him was burned. But if you find a woman that this happened to, more of her body would be burned or turned into ashes because of the accelerant of a fat tissue. Okay, anyway, So why do y'all think that human combustions occurs? Do you think it's mental? Do you think it's physical? Do you think it's spiritual? Do you think it's some form of ascension? Do you think it's something like an imbalance in the vibrations, like I said? What do y'all think it is? Do you think it's aliens? Do you think it's like another conspiracy and people are being targeted and Illuminati or whatever? What do y'all think? Like, honestly, I just think that sometimes, and a lot of this happens to mostly older people. Like, if you do the research, a lot of these human combustions happen to older people, like in the age that they should be dead or about to die. If I were to address this spiritually, and I was gonna say, well, maybe since these people were old and they knew that their time was almost up, they didn't want to suffer, or they didn't want to die of natural causes or whatever, so they chose to leave their body when they're at will. And by doing that, spiritually, the vibration of your body might have a imbalance, because when we die, our bodies release, we let go, our bodies are doing this, and then our spirit, our soul is like releasing. Everything's happening at a natural speed. But when you're just like, I want out of here now, I'm not staying here no more, peace out, and you just go pew, then your body doesn't have time to like react naturally. Your vibrations don't have time to slow down. Your chemicals in your body don't have time to produce certain things, to make certain things happen. So what if, I'm just saying, this is not fact or anything, because none of this is, but what if that's what really occurs? Like, you know what, I'm ready to leave, I'm ready to go, I'm not sick, I'm not dying, but I'm ready to go, I'm not killing myself, but I'm really ready to go, I'm out here. And perhaps in a state of unconsciousness or semi-consciousness or astral travel, they decided it was their time to go. And a lot of these people will be in resting places, like in a chair or laying down, or relaxing, somewhere where they can actually be in deep thought. So I always think these people must have been really bored, and they were like, I don't want to die like this. I'm tired of living. I've lived 1,000 years, or 90 years, and I'm ready to go. I'm out. I don't want to kill myself, but I'm really ready to go. And all is mental in the universe. All is mental. So mentally, these people could have been really in tuned, and were able to kind of escape their body, but while doing so, it left like an imbalance in the chemicals and the composition and the temperature and the vibration of their body, and it just went whoosh. Okay, this is what I think. But let me hear y'all's thoughts, because I would love to know what people think human combustion really is. Like, there's some people that will go and try to break it down scientifically, and try to I've seen videos where people have tried to break it down with nitrogen, oxygen, and all this kind of stuff in the body, the temperature, the axis of the earth. I'm like, really? You're gonna go through all that? But it's worth looking at, because at least you learn about the chemical makeup of what's in your body and what could ignite if certain particles are moving at a certain speed, which creates more heat. Because we all know, like, sometimes as a spiritual person, you can feel like you're vibrating higher and faster than most people are when you get like into deep thought, into deep meditation, into magic, into knowledge. You feel this vibration in your body increase. You hear ringing in your ears, and you just feel like so energized. You're raising that energy. And some people just go off in so much deep thought that their vibrations are just unbalanced, or they're trying to meditate and raise their vibrations, and they're not aware of how to control it, because they're not really spiritual. So they're just thinking and contemplating, and they're getting this this vibration, and they don't have the knowledge behind it. They don't know what's happening to them, and you know, their body is out of whack. They don't know how to do the breathing. They don't know how to visualize what's going on. They don't know what they're doing. So you know, it's kind of a brain signal sending something is wrong, you know. So who knows what happened, you know. Some people can come into consciousness in a blink of an eye and just figure out everything in the last 5 seconds of their life. Some people take years of studying and all that kind of stuff. So we never know, you know, we never know. Too bad that you can't really ask someone, well, maybe you could. If you have found the name of a victim that had died of spontaneous combustion and tried to contact them via spiritual, you know, divination, you know, tarot, Ouija board, pendulum, seance, or whatever you want to use to, you know, contact someone who has passed, maybe you could ask them. But that would be very interesting. That would be a very interesting conversation there. Like, why did you burn up? What happened to you? But hopefully we'll get to a point where science and the occult will start working more together. They already work together undercover, but they're not going to admit it. That's why the Catholic Church is always like butting their heads into science, and that's why the government funds these scientists and all this kind of stuff. And that's why most people think scientists work for the Illuminati, because they're all wrapped up together. And I'm not saying, oh, there's this, you know, conspiracy against science or occult. They all work together, but they just want you to think there's a conspiracy and that they don't go together, but they really do. Okay. They're just not going to let everyone else know all of this. And if you know about, you know, the universal laws and stuff like that, and you study the Kabbalah and Hermeticism, there's the law of paradox. You're not supposed to know everything. You're not supposed to lean one way more than the other. You're just supposed to accept things as they are, because there's always two ends of the story. Okay. It's kind of like the polarity. A lot of people will say, well, God is good, but if God is the creator of all things, then didn't he create evil, and wouldn't that make him evil? Isn't that a paradox? So that's why I really don't get into the religious thing, or, you know, people that damn people to hell and blah, 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 blah. You'll see more Christians damn people to hell than tell them they're going to heaven. Oh, you're going to heaven. You're just doing a good job. Why? Because of the paradox. The paradox of being a good Christian makes you a judge of character of other people and damning them to hell, and therefore being more evil. Some Christians, I'm not saying all, because, you know, there's those fanatics. I'm talking about the fanatics, y'all. So we live in a world of paradox, and you're just going to have to accept that. And there is no good or bad. It's just both. And you just have to learn how to maneuver around all those things to get where you need to get in this life, to get what you need to get, have what you need to have, and live the way you want to live. You know, use law to get things you want, the universal law to get things you want. There's no, you know, good or bad, and if you do this, this will happen. It's all universal law. If you know universal law, then you know how to get the things you want in this world without having to choose, you know, what to do. I believe this or do I believe that? All is law, all is mental. So if you know that, you're not going to have any issues, you know, with getting the things you want. But back to the subject of human combustion, yes, I do believe it is more of a metaphysical thing than a scientific thing. Of course, science is the study of life, or biology is the study of life, but I believe it has metaphysical roots and occult roots and spiritual roots as to why it happens. Okay, so let me know what y'all think, and I'll see y'all in my next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to suggest next week's conspiracy theory topic, and I'll see what I can come up with if there's some good ones in the comments. All right, bye.